Happening overnight, the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office says there has been a deputy-involved shooting in the East Mountains. At a press conference last night, Sheriff Dan Houston said a man was attempting suicide late Sunday afternoon. Houston says the man put the life of a deputy in danger and the man was shot and killed.
It's my understanding that he had taken action that left us no choice to stand him down, because that's where we draw the line. We want these things to end peacefully.
Sheriff Houston has not released any names or said what the man did to threaten the deputy. We'll bring you more information as it becomes available. Police in Albuquerque are investigating a shooting at a fundraiser that left 2 people hurt. Investigators say the shooting may have been started by a biker gang. The shooting happened Sunday afternoon near 4th and Manal. Albuquerque police say 2 people have been taken to the hospital, but still no word on their injuries. One witness with the Black Berets Motorcycle Club claims the Vagos Motorcycle Club drove by their fundraiser and began shooting. Witnesses say they heard as many as 50 shots fired.
I can't tell you when officers arrived, shots were still being fired.
Say there were a lot of small children at the fundraiser, but none of them were hurt. Police detained a lot of people for questioning, but it's not clear if any arrests have been made at this time. Today, the Albuquerque City Council is expected to pick people who will come up with ideas to improve the Police Oversight Commission. The POC is supposed to investigate complaints about police misconduct, but there have been recent concerns it's ignoring the public. So a task force has been formed made up of community members, retired police officers, nonprofit groups, and people who represent civil liberties and government groups. Today, city councilors will vote on whether to swear in the 11 recommended by city staff. If approved, those people would be charged with improving the POC. We now know who will be working on the multi-million-dollar Paseo I-25 project next year.
The project team, working between the city, state, and county, have selected Kiewit, New Mexico, Bohannon Houston, Inc., and Terracon, all New Mexico firms, to be the design-build team for the Paseo del Norte and I-25 intersection.
The Department of Transportation selected the 3 companies to design and build the first phase of the $93 million project in February. Leaders wanted to wait until after Balloon Fiesta to begin construction.
We want to make sure that the Balloon Fiesta is not hindered by this. This is a big, large-scale project.
This first phase of the project, which includes a new flyover and a ramp, will take 2 years to finish. A same-sex couple from Oregon who was visiting Albuquerque say they were embarrassed and upset when a shuttle bus driver forced them to the back of the bus. Ron McCoy and his partner Chris Bowers flew into the Sunport on June 28th for a long-awaited road trip through the Southwest. When they got here, McCoy told us he and his partner were holding hands as they sat in the front of a standard parking shuttle bus when he says the driver discriminated against them.
I saw him look at us, look down at his hands, and he looked so angry. He just blurted out at me. He goes, "Okay, if you're going to do that, you're going to the back of the bus."
McCoy says a witness jumped in telling the driver how appalled she was at his behavior, but that didn't change the driver's attitude.
And the driver looks back at us and says, "I'll show you what's appalling," and he points at us.
The Sunport contracts with standard parking. A manager for the private company says the driver was inappropriate and got carried away. Standard parking is now requiring all drivers to take sensitivity training. The couple filed a complaint with the ACLU. A new part of the WIPP site near Carlsbad has the green light to start getting nuclear waste. The Carlsbad Current Argus reports the area known as Panel 7 went through an extensive review before the state made the approval. Panel 7 will start getting defense-related waste once Panel 6 is filled. Waste shipping could start this month. Today, there could be another hearing in the case of the Valley Meat Plant in Roswell. The controversial horse slaughter plant was supposed to open today, but that all changed after a ruling by a federal judge on Friday. U.S. District Court Judge Christina Armijo sided with a group of animal activists that sued to stop the opening, saying the feds didn't do the proper environmental review before it gave the slaughterhouse the go-ahead. Judge Armijo also mentioned she would refer the case to a U.S. magistrate judge. Today's hearing may be to discuss when they'll set the preliminary injunction hearing, which is supposed to take place within 30 days. New Mexico State Police say they've seen a lot of drowning deaths involving young people that could easily be avoided. The dive team search and recovery team has stepped up their training. We got an inside look from Cochiti Lake Sunday at what it takes to conduct search and recovery missions that almost always don't end well. Divers are usually searching murky waters for evidence or bodies. They say people sometimes underestimate how cold the deep lake water is, often causing the body to go into cold water shock. Rushing waters prove deadly as well when some get caught in arroyo flash floods.
There are only a handful of us divers in the state police around the entire state. We think if we can get public awareness, community involvement, we have that many more people out there to help us in keeping everyone safe around the communities.
State police say they've seen about a dozen drowning-related deaths so far this year. They say many of them are young people and several end up being alcohol-related. Today, the governor is expected to talk about the expansion of the New Mexico Reads to Lead program. The program gives school districts around New Mexico resources needed to improve student reading levels. It provides assessments, reading coaches, and interventions for kids in kindergarten through the 3rd grade. Questions are being raised about New Mexico's teacher evaluation system. Charles Boyers, the head of the state chapter of the National Education Association, says the new system will put teachers in the position of evaluating each other while taking the responsibility off principals and school leaders. According to the Albuquerque Journal, Boyers says principals could sign off on an evaluation on a teacher they've never watched.